Hello, my name is Amy North. I am a writer based in UK, and basically I wanted to do another vlog that entails writing with me and just working with me a little bit. Welcome. So I have been writing books for a while, but I also kind of got into the mood of watching more and more writing vlogs right now. However, when you actually look for that specific content, you might find a lot of people who like either first-time writers, first-time queryers, people who challenge themselves to write a book, which is all beautiful. However, the niche and much narrower compartment, I think, is vlogs of people who actually are very comfortable with their writing, and have written many books or have been writing for a long time, and is very aware that we can finish the goal, we can cross the line, we can write words. There's no need of challenges of that many words per challenge, and I know I can, and I know you can. So in either way, I wanna just do a typical some writing sessions and typical time with me vlog, rather than emphasizing on word counts and that sort of progress. Now currently I'm working on what I call Project Occult Cafe. I reached the midpoint last month basically, and I'm still on the first draft. Realized recently that I would like to cannibalize some of my old poetry that I wrote in school and whatnot, because there are some wonderful descriptions or comparisons, and I still keep a little notebook of them. I would like to cannibalize that and draw some of the details of this fantastical world and put them into this. So this is actually giving me so much more material suddenly that I would like to incorporate. Basically, there are dreamscapes through which ghost passes and communicates. So in that sort of dreamscape reality, it's very easy to put on fairy tale-ish elements, because again, this is not grounding reality necessary. What I'm doing right now is going back from the beginning. Again, I always do it in waves, so go back from the beginning and trying to reach back that midpoint and growing words. So far, when I started doing this, I've grown 2,000 words extra, and I'm only in chapter 4, which is absolutely incredible. Well, I would like to introduce you to some of the tools I've been using recently or acclaimed recently. The first one is that I'm also in the drafting in the book that I'm working on currently. I'm learning that I have not had enough breathing space and pacing, let's say. So a lot of expansion for me happens with breathing space that is lacking, and in a lot of cases I noticed that my characters are coming into the scene a little bit abruptly with their dialogue. So I'm basically making bigger spaces and sort of descriptions, atmosphere shifts before the character comes in, which is very cinematic. Now I'm reading Into the Woods, which is basically about script writing, I would say. Very quick at reading it because a lot of examples don't really vibe with me, so I might be able to jump through them. I feel like how it's written is very cluttered and it's confusing, so it doesn't work for my brain very well. There are only a couple things that drawn from it, and one of them was that one of the characters did say that in theater he would wait as long as he can before entering the scene, and that literally shows that you have to build up attention and you have to build up before character comes in. So I think that's the lesson, honestly. So I stopped at, I believe, 4, I think, or 5. Let's see, Act 4 goes through 5-act structure mostly, even though in the beginning it says about 3-act structure, so it gets me even more confused. But this mostly goes through 5-act structure. So there are a couple of different things done differently, and I think worthwhile. and I'm really close to finishing because also appendix takes very big amount of this book. Now this other book that I've been reading, and mainly just because I owned it. Otherwise, if I was smarter, and right about now I wouldn't be getting it really, but is the literature book, or Big Ideas Explained Simply. So at the point where I got it, I felt like, you know, I missed school and studying titles and studying classics and sort of understanding the chronology of it. So I kind of needed like a brush up with it. And if you think about it, different kinds of schools have their own curriculum. So there are definitely classics that have been missed out of my curriculum, and I just wanted to expand my knowledge. Now, I've not been enjoying it. It's too crunched up. It's too short. It's too quick. I don't know. But basically, I've been quickly going through it, and I'm kind of reached. I reached 20th century. I reached 20th century now, and then obviously the next one will be post-war and modern. I wanted to share that, and there's definitely a couple of classics where I want to read. I realize one of the things I write quite Gothically right now, so there is definitely that urban Gothic trend, but some of the classics that fall into Gothic category I haven't read. So, and I know a lot of people compare their books to those, for example, Sleepy Hollow and Wuthering Heights. I haven't read those because they were not part of curriculum in my school, and now it's on my list because I think I'm probably gonna write this darker fiction for a little bit longer. But yeah, so this has been sort of a reintroduction and re-acknowledging things that I might be missing. If I was to do this now, I wouldn't have bought this book, to be honest. And I bought it so many years ago and only read about 20 pages originally, and then it was just sitting in my shelves and I was feeling quite guilty about it. So honestly, I'm not necessarily a big fan of these books. And now after reading that again, I think it's too crunched up. but it's something. It's something in terms of studying and moving forward. So these are books that I read recently in terms of a craft and knowledge and studying. Right. So let's come back to writing my novel. It's been a little bit of a break. I was writing intensively entire week, which is beautiful because I'm in that good energy levels right now. So I'm very greedy. I want everything, honestly. So one of the big things that I wanted to do with this vlog is be writing my second act, basically be catching up to my second act. I'm working currently on the what I call Project Occult Cafe. So you might have heard about it. It's about death, a necromancer and a demon, so like it's wonderful characters. So it has great fantastical elements. It's gonna be not as meaty as my big fantasy, so if at the moment I let myself hit only 50,000 for a first draft, but If I hit 60,000, I'm gonna be absolutely happy. So I've been plowing away, working entire week, and managed to actually expand my novel. So I was actually just editing from beginning to midpoint, where I finished at the moment. I managed to expand it to 26,000 words, which originally I think it was only like 22. So like the progress is wonderful. So really pace it down and like slow it down and expand it. So now it's at 26,000 words, which is much more approachable. I think people don't talk enough about working in this middle of a novel because it's just usually really hard for everyone. When I read Into the Woods, which is basically for script writing, oh my god, it was so muddled. I showed you, I might have showed it earlier. It was so muddled, didn't get a lot of good stuff out of it, except that everything is broken in 5 parts, in 5 acts there. What we also need to look at, I have shown this and honestly didn't take any more stickers of this board-ish structure, which is 3-act structure, very roughly with mysterious dessert names, love them. But because I'm working into Act 3, I actually should be covering this row completely. And I am definitely up to maybe here, I think. So maybe these two or one of them should be where I'm currently am. One of the things that I could have learned is that Act 4 versus Act 2 are opposites of each other, same way as Act 1 is opposite of Act 5. 2 and 3 sort of, or 2 let's say against 4, which actually helped me to figure out how I'm gonna do the beginning of Act 3. That's where it's probably lying the Act 4. So Act 3 kind of splits Act 2, end of Act 2 and beginning of Act 3 might be that 4th really. And then the end of final is Act 5. So it can be helpful. Everything is a circle is my favorite way to look at plots and character destinies, that everything has to go in a circle. So sometimes it can be helpful because now I want to intentionally make a more mirroring arc, let's say. So this is the today's, tomorrow's goals and this vlog's goals. I am very greedy right now because my levels recovered. I'm consuming everything so much really. And trying to like read 4 or 5 books at a time, which is not really grateful, but I'm not very great, but I'm like absolutely like devouring everything I can right now. And one of these aspects is, and I think a lot of writers hit this in the middle stage, sorry for talking so much, a lot of writers hit this in the middle stage where you start seeing shiny projects. And I got another idea for a shiny new project, absolutely different vibes. Really want to write it as well because I'm so greedy right now. So if I have time, I would like to do that. So what I would really, today's goal is work on this middle priority. If I can edit another chapter of Project Amber, because honestly I want some progress there too. If I manage and have energy on the creative side, start looking into this new project. So the new project, want to call it Project Shimmer, different vibes and different narratives that I haven't explored before, at least not strongly. So I would like to do a book within a book type of trope, and the colors and themes in that story are very different. So I might be like dabbling into one of the books I'm reading right now is dabbling in that research. So if I manage to spend a little bit of time on that, that would be a bonus. So priority, extra, and a bonus. Very greedy. So let's do some really good work today.
and her name was Maleficent.
So I pushed for it. I managed to get through second act, but the last chapters are really wonky. So I've been writing and writing and writing like several days in a row with like thousands of words every day. I think 1,000 words every day, or at least 700 words every day, while it's a big amount in editing. And I managed to push for it to the end. Last chapters is shaky because I also recognize that the more I write every day, the more of my sort of vocabulary becomes the same. So I really kind of feel like it's time to go back, withdraw a little bit, and start gathering and consuming material and so reading more books and sort of replenishing that well before I can actually proceed. I really don't like Act 3 usually, and I don't like writing Act 3 and the endings, and I sometimes don't like reading the endings. So Act 2 is not my hardest part. It's Act 3 that is my hardest part, and I always have to remind me, like, why did I write this book to myself? To actually bring myself in the right place. So yeah, thank you for being here with me through this model. But I did manage to get somewhere, and it was a good effort. And oh my god, I started writing Project Shimmer. I basically did the plotting part already to a degree, and I'm like so excited to jump into the next project. So it could be a good idea now, make a break, jump to a different project, so I can regather for these vibes and for these particular vibes and for that ending to push forward. But yeah, that's how I work. Thank you for being here. And it was very short and brief and sweet. And I hope that you also getting through your projects and especially through that not so loved act two. Yeah. See you next time.